Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Aulia Almadani, and in this great occasion, I would like to do a journal interview. And the journal that I will review is using rubrics as an instructional tool in EFL or English Foreign Language writing courses. This study was conducted by Fehmi Turgut and M. Nachi Kayaglu. Okay, before we jump into the materials or the research itself, I would like to do some background review about the study. The first is this research is an experimental research or qualitative. Yeah, this research is directly show as an experimental research, so we won't find any numbers in this research, and the method we will not far from interviews and surveys. And then the second is the quality of students' work and their intellectual abilities can be determined by their writing skills. Why this study was conducted? It is because writing skills became so important for us. Nowadays, there are so many tasks if we want to go to abroad to study or to work. And one of the tasks is writing tasks. Writing tasks become sometimes very challenging for us students or many people particularly because some of its difficulties. And from writing skills, we can determine intellectual abilities and work of someone. Okay, the next is many students are not interested in writing because it is strongly related to grammar. Yeah, this is very true because we have to admit, yeah, sometimes if we want to write, we only focus on grammar or how we compose the sentence or how we use the vocabulary. Sometimes we forget about anything else. We just focus on grammar, and the this is why many students are not interested in writing. It is different from speaking skill. When we speak, we don't have to think about punctuation, or we don't have to think about many components. Unlike writing, there are so many variables and components that we have to think about. And then next is the definition of rubrics itself. Yeah, the study find out, or the aim of the study is to find out about rubrics and students' perspective. So yeah, what is the definition of rubrics itself? Basically, rubrics is, I quote from Matler here, 2001, is a scoring guides consisting of specific pre-established performance criteria used in students' work on performance assessment. Uh, Basically, rubrics is some kind of list that teachers made to make us students know what to achieve in essay, or rubrics basically not only for essay but can be for other skill, but because now we talk about writing skill, so we only focus on writing skill and essay. um yeah, by using rubrics we can know what criteria and what we need to achieve and what to perform when we want to write. I already attached the example of rubrics here. We can see, yeah, for the example, if we want to for the example of site engagement, if we want to get a satisfactory grade, we have to entry our reflex, moderate engagement with the topic. Yeah, if we get low score, maybe it is because there are no evidence of us students that engage with the topic. Same thing happened with other components here. From the view of perspective or the use of example. Yeah, if we have low grade or low score, maybe because we don't add any additional examples in our essay. That is why we get maybe C or D, or we can get A if we integrate examples from the topic by explanation or analysis. This is the example of rubric. So yeah, this is make the students easier, and by using rubrics we didn't have to second guessing about student or I'm sorry, my I mean teachers performance. I personally sometimes confused why I get C or B when I write an essay, because I think my essay was good. I thought my essay was good, but the teacher gave me B or C. And by using rubrics, the students will not confuse about the grade or the score anymore. Okay, let's jump to the aims of this study. The aims of this study is to liberate students from the narrow perception of writing based solely on the notion of correct grammar. Yeah, like I said before, the major goal of this study is to determine if students can narrow their perception about writing, not only using grammar but other components. Okay, I have the research question of the study here. The first is, does the integration of rubrics into the writing course as an instructional tool have any effect on students' writing performance? And then the second is, can students be liberated from the narrow perception of writing based on the notion of correct grammar? And then, do rubrics have potential for teachers to make their writing course more productive? Article structure. Okay, next is data collection and analysis. Yeah, the author divided the samples into two groups. There are 16 samples here, and the first is experimental group and the second is control group. The differences between experimental group and control group is, in experimental group, the member receive training on using a rubric, while the control group, they only be given the rubrics without being taught how to use it. So that will make a big differences here. And then this research consisted 4 weeks of classes. That's quite a long time, and each week consisted 4 hours of writing instruction. Yeah, in each week there are classes that sample or the students must follow in order to know the goals or the aims of the study. And then the students were instructed on writing 2 essay topics. The first is I'm sorry, this is supposed to be types, 2 essay types. There are 2 essay types that student must follow. The first is compare and contrast, and then the second is cause and effect. So they have to write 2 essays. Okay, the next is stages. Like I said before, there are 4 weeks that contain about lesson or about classes that students must follow. In the first week, they were taught about general overview, about rubrics and the steps of the research, and how long it would take for them to finish all of the session. And then in second week, students were asked to write their first drafts and analyze them. Yeah, in the second week, the students started to write their writing work, and then try to analyze them based on the rubrics that already been given. And then the third week is about feedback and interviews session. Yeah, so because this is qualitative research, the author using interviews to collect the data. This week, students also continued their writings and did peer review. And yeah, they tried to do some peer review to their friends. And in fourth week, students were asked to analyze their final drafts, judge, and score them. Yeah, by using rubrics, we can not only use it as our guidance to write, but we can also use it to judge our own writings and score them ourselves. Yeah, this is what what makes rubrics very interesting. Okay, next, move on to the results. Um, The first one is the concrete result of this study is experimental group outperformed the control group in writing composition papers. Yeah, like I said before, uh, experimental group were being thought about the what is rubrics and were trained how to use them, and this study shows that experimental group outperform the control group in writing composition papers. What is composition of papers? There are so many composition of papers, right? There are language use or vocabulary or content or etc. This is because the experimental group already know how to use rubrics. So the results show something like this. And then the second is some students found rubrics is beneficial. Like I said before, we can already know from using rubrics, we can take many benefit from it. We can know how to write, we can know the content, we can know the criteria of the judges, and we can analyze and revise them our writing ourselves. We don't have to second guessing about teachers, why they grade us B, why they grade us C. We can know the parameter the teacher use when they scoring our work. And then on the other hand, some students found rubrics as their source of stress and tension. Yeah, uh, one of them said it is because they are not familiar with rubrics, and every time they want to write, they always think about the rubric. So yeah, they focus on how to write precisely according to the rubrics. They like write it and delete it, write it again and delete it again over and over again. That makes them very stressed and full of tense while write. It's not like before when they can write uh, anything that pops into their head. I personally was someone like that. When I write an essay, I just pour all of ideas in my head and I write them all. I don't care about the structure, the organization of the content. I just write it all, and I thought I impress the teacher by that, and I thought I can get an A by doing that. But I know that it was wrong, because by using rubrics we can know the details of our work. And then the next, students were able to realize the importance of finding the facts. Yeah, unlike before, when they don't know about rubrics, they only focus on grammatical. Like I said, now that they have known about rubrics, they can be focused and they can realize the importance of finding the facts of the topic. And uh, rubrics made their writings more well organized. Yeah, this is also true. And then rubrics serve students in planning and shaping instruction. And the last is learning targets become manageable. Like I said before, if when we don't know rubrics before, we just write whatever pops in our heads, and they makes our writings, or in this case the students writing, become not manageable. Okay, the last is further research. um I would like to use the theoretical graph, and I would say that I'm interested to find out more about teachers perspective in rubrics, because this research only focus on students perspective, right? While rubrics is also involve the teachers. This is rubrics also a part of teachers, the teacher that made the rubric themselves. And I want to know what is their parameter when they use rubrics, when they make rubrics, and what components must be achieved, and etc. Okay, I think that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.